However, by 2014, we had 11,436 firms registered and 3,167 approved. And this trend was referred to by Aldo Mekori when he talked about how we've learned about this scheme and been flexible to deal with the problems and to expand it as we've gone along. You can look at the numbers. From 1,429 firms when we started to 11,436 firms registered and more than 3,000 approved to employ graduate interns. I think that that has been a very big evolution in the numbers. A similar evolution has taken place with regard to the number of registered graduates, including those who found employment or training opportunities. Between October and December 2012, 65,199 registered, but it was very slow. Only 136 found employers who would take them in. And then in 2013, over 125,000 registered, and we got to 7,700 employed. But as Senator Ningi said, we were not happy with those numbers. With the type of numbers of unemployed, we knew we had to redouble the effort, find ways and means to clear more graduates and more firms. So that in 2014, I think we succeeded in making a quantum leap. We registered 245,100 graduates, and by then, we had managed to get more than 21,000 deployed. So this is like a tripling of the number from the year before. And we've tried to go about this by ensuring also that we are gender sensitive. Thank you for the firm that mentioned that they paid attention to employing the females as well. 68% of the current beneficiaries are male, 32% female, and we intend to drive that number to as close to 50-50 as we can. So the women, you should be standing up and clapping. I think the progress that we've made just reflects the confidence that both graduates and companies are increasingly having in this program. As they've seen it evolved, they've come to believe that this can really deliver. When you start getting to this critical mass of over 20,000 graduates that have been deployed, then you know you're really making a difference. And we spent about 5 billion naira in the 3 years that this has been on to try and develop, support, and pay our interns. We've also developed very transparent means, as one of the employers earlier on said from the Ondo State government, that the means of managing this program biometrically, cleanly, openly, have been very, very transparent. And I think that that's another hallmark of the program, which I think needs to be applauded. Well, General Martin Luther Agwai talked about the fact that because of the drop in the price of oil, the monies for Shopee are diminished and might be coming to an end. But he mentioned something very important that I want to reiterate. This program is not coming to an end. This program is a top priority for the government. Any program that has to do with getting our youths employed, getting them trained, getting them the skills they need is a top priority. And I just wanted to assure you that we will continue to support this program. We are listening to what you said. We will even want to have a dialogue with the firms, our private sector partners that are engaged in employing, and our state partners, but mostly private sector, to say, okay, as one of the employers said, what are the incentives that could be in place to induce or to encourage firms to retain as many of the qualified graduates as possible. I liked what our first testimonial by the graduate from UBA, because she stressed a lot self-effort. Did you get that, interns? If you're going to be retained by the company, it's not just the company alone that has to look at you. You have to make yourself worthy of being looked at by working hard, by excelling, by making that company feel that, look, if we let this intern go, then we're really losing something, isn't it? So I want to tell you that as we continue to look at how to expand this program, how to even double the number that we have today, we also have to depend on you to make us proud, to be the kinds of interns that we saw come up to the podium here to testify. So that's the kind of approach for the future. We are going to continue. We are going to look to placing even more graduates, doubling the number that we have. We are going to look to you to work hard so the firms will retain you. So far, 2,000 interns have exited the scheme. So of the 21,000 plus that we have in now, 2,000 have completed, and of these 2,000, 500 or 25% have been retained by the firms they worked in, which is quite a substantial number. And it means that the kind of screening we are doing to send good people to these firms is working out. And believe me, the rest, many of them have started businesses for themselves. And I just want to tell you that there's another opportunity out there, which is that we have several venture capital funds that the government has seeded, this government, to help those of you who exit and start your own business. The You Win program, we started a venture capital fund attached to that of about $50 million equivalent, because we want to attract inflows from outside also. And that venture capital fund is not just for You Win people. Any other people from GIS who start a business and they are worthy of being expanded can be invested in from that program. I wanted to mention that. The agricultural program also has a $100 million equivalent venture capital fund, and even the communications technology has one for about $15 million. So there are 3 venture capital funds that this government has seeded. Other people have invested in it. For example, the one of agriculture, FAFIN. The German government invested a considerable sum, and they're aiming to get to $100 million. So between that $100 million, the You Win $150 million, which we've already gotten about $25 million in that, and the communications technology. There are 3 that are designed to take our SME, our entrepreneurs, our small and medium enterprises even to the next level. And that is not counting the 220 billion naira fund of the central bank, whose terms were just made a little bit easier a short while ago. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to tell you that the future, there is hope. The future is what? Hopeful. For those of you who want to work hard and struggle, the GIS is not the end of the matter. We'll work hard to try and incentivize firms to retain as many of you as possible. And for those of you who start your business, we've opened up several avenues to support you for the future. I do understand that as long as there's one graduate in this country who is not employed, as long as someone knows someone who is not employed, people may feel that this is not working. And I know that feeling. You know, it's almost like the road. If it's not built in front of you or to your village, then you feel the government has not built. But as was said to you, you need to be ambassadors to go out and say, this program really works. And this program is going to redouble efforts to make sure that those who have not been placed, those who are still unemployed, that they don't lose hope, but they have hope, that we are going to work really hard to try and reach them as well. I just want to say that this program is another effort to try and consolidate our attention to the non-oil sectors of the economy. It was said before by one of our colleagues who spoke that the idea now, I think it was Barrister Segun Awolowo that said, the idea now is to use all these instruments to try and open up our non-oil sector, to further diversify the economy, to engage our young people in those areas that will matter for Nigeria now and for the future. So I want to tell you that this is how we look at this program. We are proud of the scorecard we have, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And we are also proud that the program is succeeding so much that we have new employers We have new